With the current theme of the season being rivalries, I wanted to do a video on collab ideas I'd like to see that are rivalry based. So without further much talking, let's get straight into it. What's number one being, oh boy, Chick Hicks versus Lightning McQueen, or Lightning McQueen versus Jackson Storm. The Cards nerd had to come out of me for that one. Like, I had to do it. I'm pretty sure Cars is coming sometime this chapter, I heard. Along with Rocket Racing dying, I'm lessening on that, but I still hope it comes to the game eventually. I just want to drive around as a Lightning McQueen car, even if he doesn't have the eyes. Anyways, actual items we got Sonic and Shadow. Pretty basic like choice, but come on, it gotta happen at some point. Billy Butcher versus Homelander, another basic, obvious choice. Here's an interesting one. MCU Vision versus MCU Ultron. Now this could go for the comics, but I think the comics basically would be Hank Pym versus Ultron, because I think Hank Pym makes Ultron. Don't know much about comics, to be honest, so let me know if Vision works still. Dante versus Virgil. Okay, this one probably doesn't really work as well, but I just put it as an excuse to get a better MCU Star-Lord. That's Star-Lord versus Ego. Basic, it doesn't really fully work, but it's still a cool idea, you know. It seems like it could work. Another stupid choice that probably actually won't come to the game is Mike Schmidt versus William Afton. This is from the FNAF movies, by the way, not from the games. So yeah, I know it's a stupid choice, but I think if they wanted to, it could work in a way. Because especially in that first movie, they were kind of bickering at each other in a way, like William wanted to hunt down Mike, so yeah. And then Henry Stein versus Bendy. Now, along with this video, I put out, I think a week ago, almost at this point, put out a tweet saying, list some of your favorite, some of your rival collab concept you want to see. Obviously, I didn't put every single one because some of them were like Billy Butcher versus Homelander, Sonic versus Shadow, which are pretty basic choices. But without further much rambling, let's get straight into him. I'm going to mention this now. I don't know how I didn't think of it while putting out the video. Gru and Vector from Despicable Me. I was just playing a game with my friends. I already had the video uploaded and privated. And then he was like, I was talking about it, and he's like, what about Victor and Gru? And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's really iconic. So yeah, Victor and Gru from Despicable Me. Anyways, now onto the stuff. Misty wants to see Jarto versus Dio. And I hope I said this right. If I didn't, let me know down below. I haven't seen or read anything of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I know those are from it because Misty is obsessed with that, and my friend Ames is pretty well known in that base of category. I think Dio would be a pretty cool skin. I do know who he is because I've seen so many people cosplay him. But I think a JoJo's collab would be pretty interesting in this game. JoJo's is pretty popular as an anime, so without much rambling, let's get into the next one. Half Silver here wants to see Guts versus Griffith, which comes from Berserk. I had to look that one up because I'm not too familiar with that. And well, looking at the picture here, I think it would be a pretty fitting anime collab for the season. And David versus Atom Smasher, which would be a pretty seemingly fitting collab. I looked up pictures of this. It's from that Cyberpunk anime they had. And well, I knew Atom Smasher sounded familiar when I looked up the picture. It was that one Cyberpunk Wave 2 skin we were supposed to have on March 24th, and we never got somehow. So unfortunately, that's not in the game right now, and I don't know when it will come to the game. I hope it's not scrapped because it kind of looks cool, but I don't think I'll buy it. Anyways, the last one I'm not including because I already talked about that in my part. This one I had to look up too. It's Lance versus Keith, which is from Voltron, an anime or something. No, I know what Voltron is, but this picture that RoboJar showed, I'm not really familiar with the Voltron media. So, yeah, I think that'd be pretty neat. Voltron would, in general, just be a neat collab to get in Fortnite. It works like the Megazord in a way. At least I think so. Yeah, I don't know much about this rivalry. It looks like when I looked it up, like a friendship. But hey, it'd still be cool to have in the game regardless. So anyways, on to the next one. And our last one here, I'm only going to say two. Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung. Tons? I know Mortal Kombat, I just never knew how to say his last name. So sorry if I said that wrong. I am so sorry if I said that wrong. And then Neo versus Agent Smith. Pretty interesting from the Matrix. I really hope we'd get Matrix skins one day. With a second Mortal Kombat movie on the way, I could see that one being possible. But they really skipped out on the Matrix collab back in the day. Like, we could have had a cool skin at least for the agent, yeah, just any agent in general. Anyways, not too much else for me to say here. I did ask this question on Discord, but I didn't feel like scrolling back and looking through all the replies, and probably some of them are ones that I probably already said before. So anyways, with that said, make sure to join my Discord. It's linked in the description as always. And make sure to use code WHATIF in the item shop. I will see you guys in the next one. Lights, camera.